the world changed on us while we were working toward massive tech transfer. There was a day when academics did the research, they published the research, and then maybe they consulted with a Procter & Gamble, a General Electric, or some small company, and helped them develop that technology out further to a product. That was the role. Universities did that, companies did that. Today, that role's totally gone because companies do not have the big research groups anymore. They have firefighting groups. When there's a problem, we'll fix it.
We put out the fire, we fix the problem.
Yeah.
Is that because of everything's done now on a business quarterly report basis?
That certainly is part of it. And the other part is managing successful R&D in a industrial situation is not trivial. There are situations because of internal politics and bureaucracy that if I go downtown and I get $5 million to do the next step of the project, I can't go back downtown a few months later and say, it's not going to work. Oh, okay. We're having difficulty, I need another $5 million. Okay. Industry has a hard time saying, you know, it's not working, let's put it on the shelf, we know exactly what we need, and when that technology shows up, we'll bring it off the shelf again. Okay. And so as a result, industry looks at it and goes, man, I spent all this money on research and I don't get anything out of it. And especially when you look, if it's an accountant, a marketing guy, somebody like that, they just don't manage it very well. Okay. Inside the universities, the excitement began really with gene splicing. And Stanford made a lot of money because they had the patents on that. But universities have to realize that something as earth-shattering as gene splicing comes along rarely and is obvious. Okay. All the rest of the innovations that you may have that you could license are not going to make you millions and millions of dollars.
They're small, relatively incremental.
Yes. But they're still important, but you have to spend time on it. And one example at Miami, of all things, was an oboe reed gouger.
Pardon?
An oboe reed gouger.
You mean woo, 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 woo?
Yeah, that little reed thing that makes the oboe work.
Uh-huh.
We had a faculty member in fine arts that said, they're not very good, these oboe reeds. Can we make them better? Went to the chemistry shop, said, I want a better oboe reed gouger. And our guy said, oh, okay. And they built one. Okay. We quickly saw that that was an interesting technology. We got it covered. And then we said, okay, this is not going to make us millions of dollars a year, but it can make us some. Okay. And we found a guy in Germany, of all places, who has a wonderful internet site, sells a lot of small parts for old equipment, but sells some new parts. And we said, would you like to sell the best oboe reeds in the world and maybe the best oboe reed gouger in the world? He said, absolutely. It's a crying need. And I thought, okay. Well, you know, are we talking about, we're going to sell 100 or 1,000? You know, is that many people out there? So, nah, it's about 200,000 oboe players in the world. Really? Okay. So that young lady in the university has made money off of oboe reed gouging ever since. Okay. Now, if I can get 10 of those, 20 of those, 30 of those, now I'm doing fine. And that's what we have to do instead of looking for the killer app, as we say, the one that's going to get us millions and millions of dollars.
So it's kind of not unlike the book Moneyball, where it's about just scoring, just getting on base, and just rounding the bases. You don't necessarily need to get that big power hitter in. Right. Okay. And it's not as complicated. Yes, you have to find these people. Yeah. And sometimes maybe you have to create the company with some entrepreneurs if it's a technology you want to build here in Ohio. All right. But it's all doable, and it's in many ways, it's not as complicated in terms of the legalities of it and everything. A lot more interesting. And a small company can always move faster. But why isn't it working better then?
The whole system's not working better because everybody's looking for the bigger killer app. And in the case of the government labs, like Air Force Research and Glenn, who have tremendous technology, they are caught in their tunnel. This is what we built it for. And over here is a really neat application for a high-temperature sensor like NASA has. Yeah. But they don't know it. And so they need help with people who can tie those and integrate those into other technologies, other industries, so that it can work. Because all these guys really need more money coming into their labs because it's not coming from Washington. So if they can generate royalty incomes also, that helps those labs. Okay. All right. Small ball. Small ball. Small ball.
Well, This has been Gene Krebs on behalf of the Center for Community Solutions. We've been sitting here today talking to Dr. Gil Pacey about tech transfer here in Ohio, what's working, what's not working. And we'll be back here in a little bit. See you tomorrow.